Bet you didn't see this?
Our government, despite any party that's in charge, okay, it doesn't matter if it's Democrats or Republicans, is going to carry out the wishes of the Israeli government no matter what, because they control us. They control our government. Israel controls our government. We have a system of legalized bribery. So foreign interests are able to bribe our politicians. The Israelis are far more organized and have multiple organizations, several organizations operating out of the United States, specifically to lobby on behalf of Israel, to bribe our politicians on behalf of Israel. Yes, AIPAC happens to be the most notable lobbying group that does this. And there's also blackmail. I have no doubt that there are politicians and people in positions of power who are being blackmailed.
So Anna Kasparian absolutely nailed this. She is completely on target. And just so you guys know, Ari Ben-Menashe, one of Israel's intelligence assets, literally said this exact same thing. Watch this.
And so Jeffrey Epstein, in a way, presumably being used as a tool by the Israelis, helped to change the course of history in this region I'm speaking to you from.
Of course, a change thing. And they trapped a number of U.S. presidents by using Jeffrey Epstein. And it wasn't only about sex, it was also the money issue. Where was the money coming from?
Yeah, it's the financial links.
Financial issues, different personalities receiving money from a group of billionaire Jews that worked with the Israeli government in the United States. I believe that the American government is sort of trapped by the Israelis.
Yeah, see, and for me, it's really, really easy. Because you just look at what does Israel want to accomplish? What is the Greater Israel Project? What countries are left in their agenda? It's pretty cut and dry for me. And Bibi Netanyahu has been talking about this for literally years. He's been talking about wanting to go to war with Iran for years, right out of his own mouth.
They have the wherewithal, the stored up, preserved knowledge to make a bomb very quickly if they wanted to do it.
Iran is so dangerous. Weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
They're very close. They're 6 months away from being about 90% of having the enriched uranium for an atom bomb.
Iran is gearing up to produce 25 bombs, atomic bombs a year, 250 bombs in a decade.
Ladies and gentlemen, time is running out.
Iran will be capable of producing alone, without importing anything, nuclear bombs within 3 to 5 years.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months.
But the United States would never be stupid enough to go to war with Iran, right? Well, when Trump was asked about it, conveniently when Bibi Netanyahu was here in the United States of America again, this is what he had to say.
Attack on Iran if Iran will not have a deal. If Iran will continue with their ballistic missiles and also nuclear weapons.
If they will continue with the missiles, yes. The nuclear, fast. Okay? One will be yes, absolutely. The other was, we'll do it immediately.
Meanwhile, this country that we continue to support in their military conquests across the Middle East and their continual subversion and manipulation and control of our own government, our own politicians, and robbing us blind of our hard-earned money to pay for all of that. Meanwhile, the number of the people, specifically children, that this country just murdered at mass just dropped.
710. This is the number of days of absolute horror that the people in Gaza have endured. 65,000 is the number of Palestinians ascertained killed, including of which 75% are women and children. In fact, we shall start thinking of 680,000 because this is the number that some scholars and scientists claim being the real death toll in Gaza. And it would be hard to be able to prove or disprove this number, especially if investigators and others remained banned from entering the occupied Palestinian territory, and particularly the Gaza Strip. But if this number is confirmed, 380,000 of these are infants under 5.
Yep, that's a lot of dead children. And what's going to be done about it?
Pardon? I think you will. How do you not? He's a wartime prime minister who's a hero. How do you not give a pardon? You know, I think it's a very hard thing not to do it. I spoke to the president, and it's on. I mean, he tells me it's on its way. You can't do better than that, right?
Meanwhile, $8.6 billion more for Israeli fighter jets. Who knows how many billions of dollars laundered and frauded through Minnesota daycares and healthcares with Somalians. Coincidentally, right at the same time as Somaliland is recognized by, you guessed it, Israel, only country to recognize them, which gives them strategically perfect positioning for attacking Yemen. Not to mention their airbase they're building in Somaliland. Total coincidence, I'm sure. Also, everything that's happening in Venezuela right now, the country that has the largest oil reserves in the world, on the premise of weapons of mass destruction once again, but this time they're not bombs, this time they're drugs, even though Venezuela accounts for less than 1% of the fentanyl that comes into this country.
Did you know the United States is quietly sealing off Venezuela's coastline? And most people have no idea what's happening right now. U.S. forces have deployed 12 warships, an aircraft carrier, and dozens of fighter jets around Venezuela with one clear objective: to stop sanctioned oil tankers from entering or leaving the country. For Venezuela, the consequences are severe. Nearly 90% of the nation's income comes from oil. Salaries, food imports, fuel, even basic survival, all depend on it. Oil is the lifeline of the country. The United States insists this is not a blockade, calling it law enforcement against sanctioned vessels. But President Nicolas Maduro sees it as a direct threat. In response, Venezuela has mobilized a massive force, including around 4.5 million militia fighters, nearly 15% of the population, along with submarines, fighter jets, and warships. Still, against the overwhelming power of the U.S. Navy, Venezuela's military remains heavily outmatched. In just 1 month, 3 Venezuelan oil tankers were seized. And if this escalation continues, the situation could spiral quickly.
We've had an unbelievable success by degrading Iran, which was a first-rate power. Now it's a second-rate or third-rate power. They were throwing their weight all over the place, exporting terrorism, not only to every part of the Middle East, but to Venezuela. They're in cahoots with the Maduro regime, you know. They're exporting terrorism to America, to the American hemisphere, and then they want these Hezbollah and Hamas to get their guys into the United States. So Hamas and Iran and its proxies are a threat not only to us, but to Israel, all America's allies in the Middle East, and to America itself.
Definitely seems like we're doing their bidding. Definitely seems like these people are all in their pockets. Definitely seems like Ari Ben-Menashe is right. Definitely seems like Ana Kasparian is right on the money, as I said. And it definitely seems like the United States of America is being controlled and blackmailed by this tiny little country that is so defenseless in the Middle East. But hey, I'm just a conspiracy theorist.